welcome to the Maudalorian. It's 2 p.m. on your Friday, and I'm guessing some of you have at least seen season 2, episode 2, called The Passenger. I am joined back with Leo from not only Geek Bomb. Wait, shush, Maud, you would. Where am I hearing my echo? YouTube. No, I don't know.
Echo.
No, it's probably the most exciting thing that's happened today, and I saw this episode. But we are going to talk about what the Passenger was like, whether it's any good, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. But first of all, let's rate this episode out of 10. Leo, what do you think?
Out of 10, I'm going to give this episode a 7. Just a solid. It was good, but nothing outstanding, nothing super out of the ordinary. And it didn't really lend to the plot that much. So
no, where are we going? What is the story? I thought that, the child is heavily wanted. And even though these two Rogue Squadron pilots know about it, they're like, meh.
Yeah, and you know what was crazy is at the beginning of the episode, you've got these raiders coming after the child. So it's like, okay, maybe this episode will give us a little piece more as to why they want to go after him. Like, why is he so important? Not really.
Or what he is.
What or who he is, nothing.
That tease from the end of the last episode. And it's like, well, forget about that. Let's put that on ice because we're already off the planet.
We'll show a couple of shots of armor and that's all you get.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk through this episode. It kicks off with a little bit of a stoush here. Obviously, this is your classic D&D trope, which is you're going along and boom, you get ambushed by bandits. And that's what was happening here. The old pull the rope trick. And I like the practicality of it. I like that he is going along and, you do see him fly off it and all that. I still can't figure out where that slight echo is coming from, and it's becoming bothersome. Oh, well.
Do you have the YouTube open? Do you have the tab open with the sound? Might be coming from YouTube. Oh.
I don't know. But that's whatever.
I can't hear an echo if that helps.
That helps. That does help. There is another situation, though, where it's like you see it's a little bit formulaic because remember how at the start of last episode, it was at the ring and then there was the ambush there as well. And then he just took them all out. And this time he just took them all out. But this time there was a little bit more danger with Baby Yoda.
And see, I really liked it in the first episode because it was like, all right, throw us back into the story. Let us know who we're dealing with here. Mando, the Mandalorian, the guy, the one. And then you do the same exact thing here and it doesn't work as well, especially because in context with the whole episode, I thought maybe it meant we would get something about Baby Yoda, but not really.
Something. We still don't really know much about him at all, except he's got a very hungry appetite. STS-2884, were they hired to steal the child or just bushwhacking Mando because he was there? I think the latter. I think that that's just what they do. They try and ransack unsuspecting people.
I actually think it was the former. I think they were there for the child. I want to say there was a mention of them trying to get we need the kid or something. And I remember them skirmishing around and it was no, they were going for the child, I believe.
But then why did Jawa 2.0 put the knife against the child's neck and then get the jetpack instead? If that was truly the quest, since this is very, very tropey, why? Yeah, that didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was one of those things, again, where it was done in the first episode, so it kind of already took me out because I seen it before last week, so give me something different.
I know, Jon Favreau is getting kind of comfortable. I think a little team would, they said grab the child. Okay, well, okay. But, okay. So then anyway, he doesn't have a speeder bike anymore. He manages to not only save the child, Baby Yoda, but also I think he gained a cool gun. But then he had to become a pack mule and basically load everything up and walk all through the desert to get back to Mos Eisley, where we see Pearly Mott again. Wait, where are we? There she is. She's playing some cards and she's making a bet with Dr. Mandible. The fact that there was a giant ant and it was directed by Peyton Peyton Reed.
Peyton Reed, yeah.
Peyton Manning. That sounds like a sport thing.
Football. He's a former Bronco quarterback and a former Indianapolis Colts quarterback too. Retired.
Peyton Reed had a giant ant in this episode.
Yeah, and it was comfortable for him too, and you brought up a really good point with saying they're getting comfortable, because I feel like there are a couple episodes in between the season. This is how I felt in season 1 as well, where it just kind of comes off that wave that you get off the first episode. You're kind of like hype. You're like, oh my God, we're going to learn more. And then they take a quick detour and they just give us no context and go on a random adventure.
So this is the point. This is information. This is the storyline. And every time you're like, come on, and it goes, pew. And I'm like, I just need you to, even if it's diagonally, just like towards the point would be great.
And so with that in mind, do you think they're going to take this show past 4 seasons? In that case, do you think there's going to be a lot of explorative episodes where they're going to veer off and it's just kind of like a one-off adventure or 1 or 2 episode arc, then back to a little bit more?
Yeah, I think that they really, instead of expanding out and being like, okay, season 3, season 4, yeah, it's like actually have a full arc, and like when we have that information, it opens up to more things instead of just sidetracking the whole time.
And it feels like we have a lot of ground to cover this season because we have Ahsoka Tano, possibly Sabine Wren, who knows who Sasha is playing. And then we also have Baby Yoda to still focus on. Carl Weathers is going to come back up, and Gina Carano. Like, it seems to me like, okay, we're already through 2 out of 8? That means we're
fillers.
Yeah, it's like, are we going to waste more time on episode 3? Like, there's a lot going on, so I want to get into the meat and bones of this season, because
don't drop us that cute, like Boba Fett's armor, and then literally having someone that could be either Rex or Boba Fett standing off watching, and then just boom.
Nope.
STS makes a really good point though. Now, Mando learned a thing about empathy and parenting this ep, right? Nathan's like, yeah, this is a skip episode for me.
And I feel that.
Let's just play with the spiders.
That's what it was. I mean, it was just, you know what's funny is this episode kind of feels how Baby Yoda was acting, just kind of toying around. This episode was doing that. It was just kind of toying around and really not giving us like a huge piece of plot. And maybe we're kind of judging it a little bit too early, because maybe the next episode, all these things will come into context. But maybe I'm being too optimistic.
But like to forego an entire 40-minute episode just for a little bit of filler plot with like a new adventure and new faces, but not really going anywhere, like a whole new introduced species. So continuing on in the story, this bet ends up with Peli Mott acquiring Mando an escort mission, like keeping with the D&D mission tropes. This is you need to escort this person from A to B, but without using a hyperdrive, which he's not happy about. And the mission is around the frog lady. I've seen 3 different names or none at all about her, but I thought she was a gecko, but apparently it's just a frog lady. And it turns out that she has a very important mission as well, and that's to keep her entire species alive, or her family line alive. I liked species. And to do that, she needs to go to this particular planet, Trask, without using the hyperdrive, and she has her eggs with her that will be fertilized by her husband. Oh my gosh, sorry, but that is such a, you know what, me and my puns.
Salamander, yeah.
This is the thing. They left it open, so something like this could happen. Her husband, or maybe somebody in the same species, has her. Was in episode 4 of season 1. Ooh, what do you mean? Which one? Ooh, okay. Because they did bring back a lot, actually. Like, obviously, when he's flying through the, what do you call it? The space. He was flying through the space
galaxy.
He gets pulled over Very much a license and registration, please, sir moment. But this time, instead of the police, it is rogue squadrons, because this is a post-Empire sort of world. And this is where we meet these guys, where they seem to be okay, but Mando's trying to lie and get out of it and be like, hey, I don't really have equipment that works, and I don't know how to show you what you're after, and I don't have my license nor registration. So he books it, and he tries to escape. And that's where we go through this little X-Wing chase through whatever planet.
Hoth, Ilum, I don't know what that is. It's a snow planet, so it's maybe one of those two or a new one. Who knows? They didn't really give us a clue. But I'm wondering if it's Ilum, will this start to tie in with the episodes after episode 6? So will this start tying into Force Awakens somehow? Who knows? I'm curious.
Who knows? But the chase ended up with the, what is it called? The Razor Crest being obliterated, like fell through the ground and it's completely ripped apart. The last note that I wrote here was, how are spacecrafts so breakable? And it's like, this thing's going through the air. It's going through hyperspeed, but so often this metal is just pulling back and it's completely open. And you're like, because there's not many tinkering places to fix things. Like if you kind of eat shit and you're abandoned on a weird planet that no one knows the name of, it's only up to you to fix it.
Yeah, you're screwed. I mean, as soon as things start malfunctioning, that's it for you. And yeah, you bring up a good point. If it wouldn't tear apart in hyperspace, then why? Obliterated but repaired with a toolkit. Yeah, and it seemed like some pretty easy welding too. Like it didn't look advanced at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Choo, 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 choo. Couple of cables lying around. He's like, it's okay, I got this. Before we move on, though, there are a couple of points I really want to bring up, and that is the fact that the Mandalorian is trying to A, lie, B, not sweat, and like not make this say, oh my gosh, I'm being pulled over by the police and I just don't want to die. But also this moment where, because you're realizing, wait a second, it's they're not the bad guys, it's the rogue squadron.
Right.
So he's like, may the force be with you. And he offered that. But then I did a little back reading into this, and it's like, this is the first time that they're kind of talking about Jedi, because it's still very much in a mythos. And so for him to say, may the force be with you, it's like, was that just fan fodder? Because I sure as hell went when he said it, and I loved it. But like, why is he throwing it in there?
Yeah, and that, what was weird about that moment is the way they talked about it, the Mandalorians themselves in season 1, they talked about it as being space magic and something they don't really know about. And I'm like, so does Mando know a little bit more than he kind of clued on to us in the first season?
It feels like he knows a lot. Like he was talking and conversing with the Jawa. He doesn't speak frog lady, but it seems like he knows a lot.
Which, like a New Republic motto was weird. Yeah, I mean, and what was weird about that moment is I was like, they're patrolling the galaxy and they didn't want the Empire to do that. I thought it was kind of weird that they kind of have these clutches on certain parts of the galaxy.
Can't someone just go from A to B without having to get permits and clearing it and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, right. Like, why are we patrolling? Just felt off.
So crash lands, have a little bit of a chat, and then we realize that Baby Yoda is a sneaky sneakerson. Or as I like to call it, a little shit. He's eating these eggs that are supposed to be fertilized. That is their precious, precious cargo, and he's nom-nomming himself stupid.
He's like slurping them down, and Mando finds him, and he's like, no. And
got the tiniest mouth, and those balls of egg are massive, and it just bloom.
So it's like, what does Yoda eat for a full meal if Baby Yoda's going through frog eggs?
And spiders. Apparently anything with like multiple legs, Baby Yoda's like, I'm in. But I think this isn't the first time that he's absolutely made a meal of frogs before. So the fact that this is a frog lady, yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't love this side because the disrespect is there. It's like he obviously understands English, and he's like, he knows what no is, but he's still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a baby thing to be curious, but this baby is like, I want to eat whatever I can.
I know. I was like, are there going to be any left by the time they've gone through hell? This poor woman. And she's such a survivor. Like, you know, she's by herself on Tatooine, which is such a middle of nowhere place. And she's got to make her way without using hyperdrive. And so obviously, like, she's stumbled her way into this. I'm starting to wonder how much Peli Mott has pocketed from this poor, very, very desperate frog lady to like make that happen. Oh yeah. No, I trust her on my life. I met her 10 minutes ago and I have a feeling her pocket was fat, full of coins or credits.
Do you think she's a little more like mischievous than she comes off? Like, do you think she's got some things to hide?
The fact that she was gambling with Dr. Mandible and completely like, oh yeah, he's on a winning streak. Boom, I won everything. Like she took his money. And he got information. So I guess it was an exchange. But she's a bit shady, man.
Yeah, it's a little sleazy. A little sleazy.
A little shady. Well, Frog Lady, after they've crash landed and realized that they've got to just chill out a bit, I really like the fact that she sees Q90 or Zero, the assassin droid from a previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
She tweaks around with that and uses him as a communicative device so that she can actually talk, because apparently Mando doesn't speak, which I actually do.
That was shockingly accurate. Holy smokes.
I mean, I can't believe no one else knows the language. She was really talking. I understood everything she was saying in this episode. It was really stressful.
That was like on point. Holy smokes.
But in this instance, it's like she's just desperate and needs to be able to say, where the hell are all my eggs going? But also like, I need to get to the destination and you said you would do it. And the Mandalorian, law is that you basically do what you say you're going to do. Like it's your word and you swore it. And so like, is this just something I've heard in stories, or are you actually going to step up and do the thing that you said you'd do? I liked that moment. That's when I was like, she's a tough woman. She's a survivor. She's going to get there. And that's why I was like, Baby Yoda, are you kidding? Like, this poor woman has nothing and you're eating the only thing that she does have, her reason to live, and you're just not like,
and it kind of shows that Baby Yoda is a little mischievous himself. I mean, he's already choked Cara Dune and done things like this. Like, Baby Yoda's a bit of a jerk.
I mean, he's also so cute.
Right. How could you stay mad at them cute little eyes?
They're so cute.
See, Frog Lady, though, I didn't like that we couldn't understand her for most of the episode. I'm like, okay, if he can speak this many languages up to now, he can't speak frog too.
I actually kind of liked that, because it just had that extra sort of layer of disconnect where he's really frustrated trying to communicate with her and she's really frustrated trying to communicate with him, and there's that language barrier. But I think that really kind of drives the theme of this episode, and that was protecting offspring. And we see it when, she actually left the ship and went to a hot spring in the ice area so that she could kind of like spend some warm or hot water time with her little eggs. But of course, times are running out, and this dude again wanders off and nom-noms a baby spider, which causes Harry Potter Aragog 2.0.
Yeah, they look like face huggers from Alien to me when they were
and it was interesting
close.
Because the egg sacs were very reminiscent of Alien, but just a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like arachnoid with the face hugger feel with the giant egg sac body. Ugh. I mean, not fun. As soon as that starts happening, you're just like, oh man, there's a swarm. There's a swarm coming. And there's always an Aragog. There's always a big daddy of a spider that's going to come get, look at this guy. But they had the little mouth at the bottom.
I thought this looked better than the crate dragon. What did you think of the design of this, like the king spider?
So I actually have played Imperial Assault, which is the Star Wars tabletop game. And we had a mission where we had to go through these caves and caverns full of like spider silk-ish webbing. And it was like a whole campaign about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it has to be the same spider. It had this very, very similar feel to it all. So I was very sidetracked in my head about that, because that adventure that I had was really exciting. So much shade.
I bet you couldn't imagine all these little spiders coming at you. Ugh.
Here it is. Those white spiders are from Rebels. They're in season 3, I think.
Oh, okay.
Octopus spiders. And what, those spiders from Rebels? Yeah. That's right. Hold on. The dragon looked better to me. But these were really well done. Okay.
I think I like the design on these more than I like that crate dragon.
It's just like Monster of the Week again, though.
Yeah, very formulaic. Feels like the last episode. We have a final boss to defeat.
I will say, though, what I liked about this, obviously they were running and trying to get out there, and then Frog Lady just like goes full frog. That was cool. But the fact that this ship is not sealable, and so this infestation just goes in the ship, and that to me felt really hopeless. It's like, oh my gosh, like this thing is barely together, and now it's like it's totally getting overrun by an enemy. So that was, yeah, I really felt like the weight of that. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Who's going to save the day? Well, Dave Filoni is. So this is a very tight and contained episode. This is what I would have done in Fungeons and Flagons. But these two Rogue Squadron X-Wing pilots that had checked on them before found the crash and decided to help shoot off all the spiders. This is concept art, but all the spiders that were surrounding the ship. So they kind of saved the day. Yay! And then there's a little bit of dialogue where it's like, we kind of should arrest you, but we also checked your record, and it turns out that you took care of 3 criminals from season 1, episode 6, which we're really grateful for, but you're also wanted because you've stolen basically the baby.
Baby Yoda. Yeah.
Baby. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, bygones be bygones, just get your tech fixed. And you're like, here they come to save the day.
Felt too convenient. I thought that was like so convenient. And see, I was claustrophobic with the spiders at that point. Once they were chasing them, they got in the ship, I was like, oh my God, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. And then when that happens, I was kind of like, that felt so convenient to me. It was just, and they didn't even like try to get him or try to take him in.
And it's this thing again where it's like, that was 40 minutes. And I understand, like, the last episode, I believe, was 55 minutes. And it's like, yeah, because you needed that extra 15 minutes for something to happen. But it was contained in that 40 because, I don't know, he needs to think. I mean, Favreau's good, but he just needs to think outside the box a little bit.
And yeah, I definitely think this is just a smaller episode. I'm hoping 3 we get back on track, but yeah, this just felt so small.
Actually, it's, STS, the spiders almost got Baby Yoda. There was that real sense of vulnerability where it was like on its head and he was super distressed. And then Frog Lady's like, pew, pew, but you didn't see that coming. But it's like, yes.
Right. I was like, she's a sharpshoot.
Dude, she's a survivor, honestly. But the whole theme of like protecting offspring, you have Mandalorian protecting Baby Yoda from the bounty, bandit ambush from the beginning. Then you've got this woman who's trying to protect her eggs, which is getting eaten by the thing that Mando's trying to protect. And then Baby Yoda, the thing that Mando's trying to protect, who is not only eating Frog Lady's offspring, but now is starting to eat Aragog 2.0's offspring. So it's like this one kid is like just obliterating everyone else's offspring, but Mando's priority is obviously going to be Baby Yoda. Look at that face. But it's super, super interesting that it's like everyone has their own version of Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the most important thing.
Yeah, and you really feel that in this episode, especially Frog Lady. I mean, she was already sketched out after Baby Yoda had slurped through like 3 of her kids. She's
like, she goes like, where are they all? And Baby Yoda's like, so cute though. I feel like we had, out of 40 minutes, we had Baby Yoda airtime for like 36.
Yeah, this was a spotlight for him for sure.
Okay, Devlin Avocado. The most important episode ever. Imagine if you bonded with young Anakin without knowing he was going to turn to the dark side. This fall to the dark side is going to be incredibly devastating. What are you trying to say? Baby Yoda going to be bad? Is that why he eats too much?
I mean, we don't know who he is. He could have been siphoned to be a part of the New Order or something. We don't know.
I just wouldn't mind a couple more clues. All I know is that it's just wanted. But wanted for what? Why? Like,
Why?
is he one of 3? Like, what is going on?
He ate the younglings.
I do think it's so interesting, though, because I did notice that this Rogue Squadron, did he have a line of dialogue?
No.
Yeah. So Dave Filoni, who is the creator of Clone Wars and Rebels, and he's been such an integral part of like a lot of the episodic animated series of Star Wars, but he's like, he understands Star Wars. He's like Mr. Star Wars at the moment. He's probably like the closest George Lucas will ever get, without being George Lucas. So the fact that he was in this episode as a Rogue Squadron what is it called again? X-Wing fighter pilot. I really, really liked that cameo. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I really liked, my favorite cameo was like when the directors were all in the X-Wings in that episode. I think it was episode 7 of the last season.
Yeah.
So whenever a director or creator or producer can like get a cameo like that, I always love it. I didn't even catch that though.
Jason Sudeikis, who was one of the stormtroopers who was firing at Baby Yoda. Yeah, good cameos. I know of one only coming up because I got the inside scoop, but he's yeah.
Is it somebody in the director staff or?
He's an actor.
Oh,
but I know what he's playing, so I don't want to spoil anything. But I can say that there are going to be more Mandalorians in this season,
other than just Boba and Mando.
There you go. This episode had a point, not because the show made it, but because I made a point. That's how you do it, Mando. Get some Mordo.
Yeah, seriously, get some nuggets in there, man.
Be interesting to see if this ep has relevance like season 1 skip episodes. We will see. The cameos are fun. So at the beginning of the episode, we asked everyone to rank it. Nathan gave it a 5 out of 10. Leo gave it a 7 out of 10. I think I would have given it like a 6.5 out of 10. It was just like I said, I took 4 pages of notes for last episode. This one I took 1. Oh, Thierry, 8 out of 10. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's everyone else give it?
Glad there's some people on the 8 out of 10 side, because I just walked out of this episode like, good, but nothing mind-blowing, nothing great.
Tangible.
Yeah, nothing to take away
side
from it.
mish. Here we go. Priority 6. Seb 6. FPS says I should be an X-Wing pilot. I mean, you are not wrong.
Yeah, is it you in the next episode?
It's me. Yeah, I bought the shirt. Really getting in there because I'm in it. It was silly with some of the logic, but I still enjoyed it, said Adam Tulos, giving it a 7 out of 10. You know what, Thierry? Oh, Jimmy, you keep getting it spoiled before you go in to see it.
No.
Thierry, I read a review as well that painted this episode in such a positive light, saying it had some of the funniest gags the whole show. Leah's like, do we watch the same show?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think a lot of it was funny, I guess. It was adorable, but
also frustrating. This poor woman. I just don't feel like she was taken seriously.
I know. And report eggs and
this was just hardwired an assassin droid to just get her point across going, finish what you started.
And then Baby Yoda slurps down another 2 of her eggs.
Yes. I know.
Like, what a big middle finger.
Well, this episode, this recap was a lot shorter than last week because less happened in this one. But you know what? I'm excited to watch it. I do love the soundtrack. I love the little Easter eggs that you get.
Speaking of soundtrack, did you catch that little piece of a hip hop beat that like squeezed into this episode? I was like, what is Mando doing? I think it's when the Rogue Squadrons are closing their corridors to their ship. There's like this tiny little beat drop, and I was like, what is that, Mando? You dropping some rhymes on us now, or what?
Cool. Oh, okay. I love that. I mean, yeah, it's something that I miss, but that's why we do these recaps, because you pick up what I do not. Mind you, last week I was looking at my phone so much that I didn't even see Boba Fett the first time, or whoever it is. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be like Frog Lady. Don't start what you haven't finished. Like, don't start it if you won't finish it.
Yeah, like at least what would have been cool is even if he popped up at the end again, or if there was just some little Easter egg in the episode that was like, oh man, like he's on the move, or yo, there's another Mandalorian to find, or something. There just wasn't too much.
Maybe that's what I'm struggling with, because usually when you have a show, it's almost like there's an ensemble thing. Like if there's more than one person that has the focus, you'll follow their storyline, but you'll also have a sub storyline. Like there's two kind of things happening at once. But a lot of the time with Mando, because it's just him and Baby and they're together the whole time, the storyline is just one linear story. So you're not cutting, like Star Wars is actually really, really known for cutting between storylines that are happening. So you'll have Obi-Wan and Anakin on a space vessel, and then you cut back to the Jedi Council, and then you see what Padme's up to, and it bounces between it. So I think it's feeling a little bit stale when it's just, you're not cutting to anything. It's just, all right, cool, A to B. There we go.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because the Clone Wars does that too. You know, you'll have a couple episodes that focus on Yoda, a couple that focus on Anakin, that go to Obi-Wan, and Mando's not going to do that. I think it's totally just Mando, Baby Yoda the whole time. But what are we going to do when Ahsoka pops up? And see, that's my thing, Sasha Banks. Like, okay, what about these characters? And when are we going to start piecing some of those stories together?
Just go towards the point. That's all I ask. It's just these fluff episodes. And I kid you not, when I was writing my notes, because last one I was like, oh, it's the NPC that delivers the quest, and he can only do his thing once he defeats that quest. And I was like, yeah. But this one I was like, oh my God, it was literally like you have to escort her to this location. I was like, I play so many RPGs. I was like, he just got an escort quest. Like it's like one of 5 quests that you can get. It's either the find the treasure, it's the kill this boss, or like, kill this monster, or it's come on, escort someone.
Which this was this episode.
Yeah, and last one was kill the monster.
And it's been one person assigning it to him. Yeah, totally. I mean, it works just like an RPG. Jeez.
Oh, here we go. I was with Mando wanting to call off the quest. We crashed on an ice planet with cops hunting us. Things changed. But like, no, I'm with her. I'm with her.
Get them babies.
No other option. There's no other option.
I actually like that she kind of slapped it back into him. Like, no way. We're getting out of here.
So Monstein, I think the ship being broken is going to be a big thing from this episode. I did too. I remember how it was in quite a few pieces at some stage during season 1, and he had to kind of put a lot of it back together. Yeah, but that's the thing. It already happened in season 1.
And please don't go back to Tatooine to get it fixed, because we've been there so many times.
But I don't think Pelimoto is actually really good for anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think she's good. Next is going to be find this special item and bring it to me. Thank you, Priority. You totally get what I mean by like there's one of 5 quests that you can do. And I know this because I've done 5 seasons of a 10-episode run for Dungeons and Flagons or something like it. So yeah, I know this back to front. So that's why I'm like, John, like you're doing shit that I can do. Like obviously I can't direct and it looks beautiful, but as far as storytelling goes, I'm like, I need to be impressed. Impress me.
Like, were you impressed by the first episode? Like, were you like,
I thought it was predictable. No, I thought it was predictable. I mean, we chatted about it.
Yeah, so you didn't like the first episode? I thought you really liked the first one.
I liked it a lot more than this one. I think more happened in it, but I think I was also really excited to have the season back. But yeah, no, I thought that the take this big bad guy down to help us. We already saw that last season as well. Yeah. Next episode.
Somebody's enjoyment of the mechanic wore out.
I still had fun with it. And then went, I still had fun with it. Good on that typo. All right, well, I guess that's everything. Here we are. It reminds me how it reminds me how the Millennium Falcon is always breaking down. We saw that already. Please not again.
And I feel like that was taking more punches than this ship that looked a lot beefier, in my opinion. Wide, like the scale of how wide it was. I feel like it should be able to take some more damage, but who knows?
Things like a can of sardines is ready to be opened. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Maudalorian. Really appreciate you being here, Leo. Where can people catch you online and for Geekly Goods?
Y'all come on over to youtube.com/Geekly Goods. That's my home, and I'm also the same on Twitter, Instagram, and you can look me up at Leo Rydell on Twitter. Can't wait to talk about the next episode, Maude, because I'm thinking and I'm hoping that we can get some context next episode. Like, we can get into some meat and potatoes of the plot. I'm hoping that's where we're going with 3.
Because, like, if it doesn't happen, then what have they even thought about this season?
They'll kind of lose my focus a little bit if it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it looks and sounds pretty.
Just the budget has stepped up, too. The budget is...
Yeah. Oh, money. It's Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And TV had been doing a whole lot better than the movies had been in terms of popularity. But it's like, guys, got to learn to tell a good story. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you same time next week. Goodbye.
See ya.